Mayor Minto, during your response to the first question, you talked a little bit about the NGOs. Can you tell us kind of what's your overview on, and Mayor Franklin, I'm sure you have an opinion on this too, because we get a mixed message out there, right? And Catholic Charities takes kind of the brunt of the criticism related to the NGOs. But what is your experience right now with the give and take with the NGOs and what they're providing and the resources they're providing?
Well, what I'd like to do first is give you a little background on my experience with non-government organizations. And during the 2000s, I'll say, as I was a police officer, my job was to create programs to keep kids out of trouble, out of the justice system. And we relied heavily on non-government organizations because when you encumber your police officers, your probation officers, they are not doing a job that they can be doing elsewhere. So if you bring them into the fold, the NGOs into the fold, and they are able to perform just basic services especially, then you know what? Then your police officers, your probation officers, and others can actually do the job they were hired for. It's better to find out what the cause is for an issue. We know that kids, for instance, do a lot of things, everything from boredom to being abused. And if you can find out why they're doing that, you can fix the problem. So non-government organizations usually have the resources because they get grants from everywhere you can think of, especially large ones like Jewish Family Services. So why not let them do the work, and then we can take care of the actual line work that needs to be done. I guess that's the best way of doing it. And today, by having them on board, that still is the way that the work can be done best, in my opinion.
Okay, Mayor Franklin.
There are 6,000 people living unsheltered on the streets of our county. 170 of those are living homeless on the streets of my city. Until I've got every single person who's an American off the streets and into a place of shelter, the idea of spending federal or county money to welcome immigrants who have come unlawfully. I visited that center funded by the federal taxpayer through the county of San Diego. They were spending $43,000 a week on transportation services. Now, one of the untold stories that didn't get talked about today, people are paying between $2,000 and $15,000 to the cartels. If they do not pay, many of them are murdered if they try and cross without paying that extortion. They come across oftentimes, as you've seen, in their best new clothes, and they're here to start a new life in the United States. Probably most of them that could afford the $15,000 or whatever they paid probably also had a few $1,000s in their pocket to get where they're going. Now, I don't have a problem with Catholic Charities and other NGOs providing some assistance on a compassionate humanitarian basis, but why the taxpayer would address the needs of people who have entered unlawfully, who seem to have some money, before we would address the needs of those who are living without shelter, who are homeless, defies explanation. So that's my experience.
Thank you. I yield back.